And hopefully we'll have Jess join us very quickly. Okay, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. I see you all filing in. That is very exciting. We're glad to have everyone join us on a very late night for some of us. We've got Elizabeth Ducie, who's in the UK, and it's what, 1 a.m.?
1 a.m., yeah.
1 a.m. She's a trooper. Thank you for being part of this. It's only 8 o'clock on the East Coast, but 8 o'clock is like midnight for me these days. I was telling them, I was like, I don't know why I scheduled not only one, but 2 webinars at 8 p.m. because right now this is like when I like to be winding down, getting ready for bed. But I'm going to get fired up. Jess is in the waiting room. Okay, let me click on over here and get Jess promoted to a panelist as well. Here we go. All right, she should be in, and I probably have to make you a co-host so you can turn on your camera. So tonight's very, very casual, everyone. So it's late in the evening. We're having just a fun chat with our writer friends. And I don't see Jess. Jess, can you, there you are. Okay, you are in. Okay, great. We are gathered together, as Prince said in his famous song. We are here tonight to just talk about the importance of groups, the importance of finding your, I know this is no longer PC, but finding your tribe, because I know a lot of people describe that as this, finding the people that form your community, finding your people that you can spend time with and help you. And a lot of these ladies had no idea that they were each other's people until they came together in the summit and in WIP school last year. So that's a lot of what this conference is about, is to help you meet new people, to form relationships, to find your people that you can then come in community with to help you along your writing journey. So we have these 2 groups of ladies here tonight. They're so much fun. Both of them formed groups that have stayed together now almost a year. And they even have nicknamed themselves. So our first group is the Pickles, and they'll tell you why they are named that when we have our little session here in a second with them. And then the second group is our 55ers, the 55-minute group. And you know what? I remember last year in the conference in the Facebook group, which if you're not on the Facebook group, it really is a great place for getting to know people and posting questions and all that kind of stuff for the conference ticket holders, I should say. I remember her posting, because we did a few sprints in the actual conference like we're doing this year. And I remember her posting, hey, if anybody wants to sprint again, I'm setting this one up. And she would do this periodically, and she just kept them going. And a group of them stayed really close together. So we're going to talk about that group as well. So I suppose I should back up just a teeny tiny bit, because I know not everybody in this group is conference ticket holders. So I'm Alexa Bigwarf. I am the founder of the Women in Publishing Summit and Write Publish Sell. Many of you may be joining us from our Write Publish Sell list. And we are getting ready to run our big annual conference, which is called the Women in Publishing Summit. It starts on the 2nd, and we have 4 really packed days of content and information. So if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, you can head over to womeninpublishingsummit.com and grab it there. You're not going to want to miss it. If you don't want to get a ticket, if you're just here to talk about writing groups tonight, that is totally okay too. We do run webinars every single month that are free and open to the public, because I really want people to be able to learn a lot throughout the year and not just from the conference. Okay. So that's why we're here. That's what we're doing. I'm going to unspotlight myself here, and we're going to get right into this. We're going to put this back on the gallery view here. And I'm going to invite the ladies who are here with the Pickles group to come forth front and center. And if you are in the other group, if you would please mute yourself and turn off your camera. And I'm going to see if I can set this up to hide the oh, it's not showing me that option. There used to be an option where I could hide the non-participant views, but I can't seem to see that. Let me see if I can spotlight y'all all here. Let's see what's going to happen. Like I said, we're super casual tonight, so nobody add a spotlight. There we go. We got to get Amy up here and Jess up here. Am I missing anybody from your group?
No, that's it.
That's it. All right. So these are the pickles. And I'm happy to say I'm part of the pickles now too, because they were having so much fun on Facebook the other day. I was like, I want in your group. Let me in your group. And they voted and they allowed me in. I'm just kidding. What a great group of ladies we have here. So I'm going to allow each of you to introduce yourselves and tell everybody just a little bit about who you are, what you write on, and then we'll get into talking about your group. And we'll start with Elizabeth.
Okay, hi, I'm Elizabeth Ducie. I'm in the UK. I write fiction and non-fiction, and I'm a speaker at the conference talking about turning your hobby into a business. But most of the time I write cozy mysteries.
Cozy mysteries. All right, Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Oucharek-Deo, and I'm in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, which is a little town just outside of Vancouver, BC. And I have a fiction trilogy, just working on the third book of the trilogy, hoping to get it out this year. And I've got a nonfiction book that I've outlined, and I am hoping that it will be out in 2023.
Yay. Okay, Jess.
Hi, everybody. I write about a couple things. I write about nonfiction, health stuff, so mostly about Lyme disease, and I'm writing a little bit about my own experience with publishing. I am writing my first fiction, an upmarket fiction series, which has been insane, and this group, the Pickles, have been the reason why this book is almost done. I'm also a speaker, and I'm talking about how to grow and scale with YouTube.
Yay. And last but not least, Amy.
Hi everyone, I'm Amy, and on Facebook, my pen name is Elson Miller, so I'm the same person, but you all are super cool, so I'll tell you who I am. I live outside of Chicago, Illinois, and I write contemporary women's fiction, or fiction, I guess. I do have a preference for historical. I am still writing my first draft that deals with 9/11. It centers around that tragedy, and I'm a mom to two, and I'm also teaching my little ones this year at home. So I'm really only able to write short stories, very, very short stories. And I'm a pickle little sister. I haven't published anything yet, but I'm a tag along.
That's funny. The little sister. All right. So let's talk about how your group got going. And I'm dropping the links to their stuff in the chat. If I didn't get a link from you, if you want to drop your own stuff in there, you can come back and do that when you're not talking. But let's tell everybody how the group started. And don't you worry, we are going to get into why they call themselves the Pickles in just a second. But how'd you guys?
Top secret.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll share the secret. That's not a problem. So, hi everyone. I'm Michelle. I chose to start things off today, just to give you a little bit of insight about how we got things started, and just to give you some ideas about how you might be able to get your own group started. And so, because I was the one who kind of pulled some of the threads together at the beginning. So basically, what happened was that after we were all in the summit together. And then the group of us actually also went on to the WIP school. And in WIP school, at one point, Alexa put together different pods of people to come together so that they could start working on different ideas and talking and supporting each other through some launch processes and just things like that. And so she gave us just a random group of people that came together. When we first had our group, there was 5 of us, and we were in 4 different time zones at that point. And we're like, oh, okay, how are we going to manage this? And so the first thing we did was I had sent out an email to everybody, and I asked everyone to ask one question, to put out a question, and then each one of us would answer that question. And so it allowed us just to get to know one another based on the question. And what we've very quickly realized is that through that email process, there were so many threads that were coming back and forth. It was hard to follow all of them. So we moved and we evolved from from having our threads on email, and I started up a private Facebook group where only the people who are in our group were allowed into that piece, where we were able then to have and start communicating with one another in real time and be able to check people's messenger. We all went on to each other's messengers. So if you had a specific message, you could then end up having the message come up on your phone. And I often will have, like, all of a sudden Elizabeth or Jess's message, or Amy will be like, does anybody have the answer to this question? And so those kind of things start coming up on our Facebook page. And so it really gave us an opportunity to be able to start interacting on those level. Then the next step that we took was actually starting up Zoom interactions. And then that's where we started having to just really work through people's time zones, which was really fascinating for us. And then one of the great additions, we had 5 people to start. And then one of the people that I had met while I was in the conference and in the school that I had gotten to know was Elizabeth, and she was in a group that wasn't quite coming and gelling together. And so I checked with my group and said, hey, can we invite her in? And they said yes. And so she came along, both. And so then we ended up having 6, and we had 5 time zones, I think, at that point then. And we did our very best. And since then, we usually, at the very beginning, while we were still in school, we met on average, like sometimes twice a month or so. But then people were meeting individually and setting up their own, if there was something really specific that people wanted to discuss, that they were then meeting each other in their own, either in their own Zoom groups or in other social media platforms. And really that's how we came together. How we actually got our name was that at one point somebody was challenged and was dealing with something, and somebody sent out a message on Facebook and said, oh, I'm in a pickle. And then all of a sudden I started thinking about this concept of, like, we were thinking, like, well, like the pickle, we're in a pickle, authors in a pickle, we're all in a pickle jar. Oh, there we go. That was it, that we're authors in a pickle. As we all know, that as women who are working in business and we're trying to run our households, that sometimes it feels like that we're all just like, they've got to be able to come together. And so that's kind of where we had this theory of us, if we can come together and stay together, then we can help each other. So that's how we all came together and where our name came from.
I love it. So one of the biggest questions we have for people, I have on these groups is, what type of activities are you doing when you're together? Are you helping each other writing? Are you coming together and writing together, or giving feedback on writing? What types of stuff how are you supporting each other?
Shall I take that one? We do a whole range of things, really. We, in our regular-ish meetings, basically we each of us go around and we catch up on where we are and swap notes on primarily marketing, but obviously writing it as well. We don't do any writing together in the way I know the 55ers do, but there was one major project that we had not long after we got together. Eileen Donovan, who's not here this evening, was taking part in a contest where she was putting her novel forward for a publishing deal. And she had quite a specific requirement in terms of a presentation she had to make for this contest. And she put the presentation over to us and we workshopped it, and we all gave her feedback and she worked on it. And I think it went through a couple of iterations. And in the end, she won the contest. So
wow.
Hopefully that the input she got from us was helpful. But we also do individual bits and pieces, like Michelle and I sort of do our marketing strategy together and act as accountability partners. And I know Jess is running a book funnel promotion at the moment that I'm taking part in. So there's lots of little bits and pieces going on as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point to make, is that a lot of times when people think about their writing groups, they think of writing critique groups or coming together and writing together. And those are all fantastic. I know I get so much out of going to my writing critique group and also having people hold me accountability just to sit down and write. But knowing that there's so many other things that we do as authors. If we're pitching an agent, if we're pitching a contest like this, if we're putting forth our book for something, I'm just getting all those other kinds of feedback as well. That's so great. And I mean, 5 minds, 6 minds is obviously better than one. So being able to get that feedback and accepting it and taking those things to improve your own project, that's really great. I hadn't heard that story. So congratulations to Eileen on that. That's wonderful. All right. So Jess, what would you like to say on this topic? I forgot what question I said I would ask you.
I don't know, but we did meet briefly before this talk to figure out what
Plan
we're
it
all
out.
going to say.
Go for it. I'm just going to let y'all run it, the organized group.
Okay, well, the first thing I thought is it's sort of irrelevant that we're all writers or marketers or branding. We're friends. So we're friends and we're colleagues. And this is a two-parter. We're friends, so we talk about really a lot of things. There have been tears shed. There have been people lost during the duration of this group. So there's a lot more going on besides our careers. But at the same time, the fact that we are all writers keeps us writing. It keeps me writing. I am working on a book right now. It took me 5 years to write, but in reality, there were 2 years where I did not think about it at all. And I didn't have this writing group or the Women in Publishing Summit. And I know that if I had writing friends who are always reaching out to me, like, how are you doing? What are you writing? I would be thinking about that book for those 2 years that it was gone. I just focused on my career and I forgot about it. And I could, but deep down, something inside me made me know that I had to meet more writers. And I'm very happy I found the Women in Publishing Summit and this group because of that. And the other part of what I was thinking is we're all also professionals. So being a writer is one thing, but we are also business owners. And that's something I had to learn. My first book I wrote, I don't know how long ago it was now, a decade ago, when I was in my early 20s. And I didn't have anyone. I also wasn't thinking about setting meetings and networking and collaborating. So I think the fact that we take our meetings very seriously, we show up for them, and there's a mutual exchange of respect for each other's time and skills. I think that it has been really important just to learn that, yes, we are all these little individual artists, so professionals. So it's very nice to spend time with others who take the professional aspect of writing very seriously.
What a great message. I mean, it is true. Like, you form these relationships with writers. And I think because we understand and appreciate some things about each other, about something that we're so passionate about, and something that's so important that many people in our inner circles even don't understand or don't share that with us. So to be able to find other writers who understand those things, but other writers that you can also have that close knit relationship with as you're going through your struggles, I think it's really beautiful. And it's nice to have the people there who can support your personal endeavors, but can also, be there to support the writing side as well. So thank you for sharing that. And Amy, so my question for you was, when we were emailing back and forth about talking about this, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. Amy was like, I'm not sure what I have to offer to this conversation because I haven't published a book yet. And I said, you're actually a perfect offering to this conversation because there are so many people in our audience who are either just getting started or have been sitting on a project for a long time or haven't been able to move forward, and to know that they can still be part of a writing group, even if things are on pause, even if they haven't published yet. So I want to hear your perspective of what it's like to be, why you decided to stay in this group and what you've been getting from it, and how it's helping you move through wherever you're getting to, because you'll get there
Sure.
eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Michelle said it best. She said, you know, you'll write when it's right, and your story will come when it's right. And, you know, Jess shared with us earlier that it took her 5 years to get her book going and finished. And I think that being a stay-at-home mom, taking care of my 2 kids, teaching my 2 kids, you know, I just had to deal with some separation anxiety with my 5-year-old because I said, Mommy has a meeting, honey. You know, and the tears and everything. It's so healthy for me just to break away, because this is my passion. This is, you know, when I was a little girl, I closed my eyes. What do you want to do? I want to write. That's all I want to do. And in a world filled mostly with non-creative people, they don't understand that, you know. And I thought that coming up with a story idea was the tough part. The tough part is selling your work and getting other people interested in your work. And I feel like at this space where I am right now, I'm not finished with my crappy first draft, but I keep coming back, and I attend the pickle meetings, and I attend the summits, and I attend conferences, and basically anything that Alexa has her name on, I'm like, ooh, sign me up. Let me check that out. Because I need it. I need this to keep me going, to keep me in the game. And when my book is done, I know that my dedication will go to Alexa and the pickles for helping me do this. And when the marketing seems like it's just too much, you know, these women that are in my group, they've been there, they've done that. And it's nice to know I've got a hand to hold, because it can be very isolating and very intimidating, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. I want to just second that wholeheartedly, because I rapidly found, well, when I started the process, I knew a lot of bloggers because I started in the blogging world, but it took a while before I found my author writing friends. But once I did, like, it's crazy. Like, none of us have met in person in this particular group. But I feel like some of my closest relationships in the world right now are people that I get together with in virtual events and are talking about writing in these projects, because like you said, this is our passion. This is what lights us up. This is after the kids are in bed or before they're awake or after all the other things that are going on in our lives, you know, we have this to come back to. So it's really great. And also, you know, finding those people who just support you when nobody else in your life maybe does. Because I know my kids are older now, so I have a lot more freedom. But I remember when they were much, much smaller, some of the criticism, maybe I would say, I would get from other people who couldn't understand why I was prioritizing other things in my life that weren't the things that they thought should be prioritized, et cetera, et cetera. But to have the other people in your life who can say, or in your writing group that say, you know what, keep at it, keep doing it. This is important. You know, you can still do those things. Or even to tell you, if you're like some of my writer friends told me at the time, you know what, the writing will still be there. If you feel like you need to do this instead right now, or not just feel, but if, you know, this is your priority right now, it's okay. You can pick it back up again in a little while. You can work just a little bit here and there. So I think it's excellent. So sorry to ramble on about that, but what you just said, like, really hit home with the place I haven't been in for a long time. But I remember being there when I felt really torn between my roles in life at the time, and having the people who still encouraged me to write and to show up at stuff like this was important. So, all right. Did you all have anything else that you wanted? Should we do your tips now? And so that we don't have to pull you back in later in case Elizabeth Elizabeth has something else.
It was just something, when I was talking about the accomplishments, I completely forgot what for me is one of the most important things was that I had lost my writing buddy that I used for my alpha reader. And Carol, who's the other member of the group that isn't here this evening, she is writing, although hers are historical, they're similar books to mine, and we're both in number 2 of the series. And she and I have become alpha readers and are working together on our novels. That's to me is a huge thing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's excuse me, wonderful. So what I think I'm going to do is I had asked everybody to come prepared, unless if you had anything else, I don't want to cut you off. I know you guys planned some things to chat about tonight. So you're all shaking your head no. Okay. So I asked both groups to think of a tip or two for these writing groups. It can be around starting them, keeping them going, activities to do or whatever. So if y'all want to share those, and then I'll bring up the other group.
I think you just said it. Start them and keep them going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Show up on time, be respectful, and I think get on camera. I think
Yes.
it, like, you can email there and be in threads, but when you show up face to face, I know it's virtual, but it really makes a difference. Like Alexa just said, some of the closest people in her life are virtual friends. And I think that has a lot to do with the video call. Like, we can see each other. This is as intimate as it's going to get online. And just show up and get a Zoom account and talk over Zoom.
Yeah, I would probably say my tip would be around just keeping an eye on who's put, like, so if you do set up a private Facebook group, which has been fantastic, keep an eye on who's putting the information in, because back in September, I went quiet for a little while, and I wasn't online for a few, like probably about 2 or 3 weeks, which was very odd. And my son had just left for university, and I was not in a good place. It was just, I was like empty nesting, and just it was a really kind of sad, challenging time. And my pickle group, they picked up and they started sending me messages on every social media platform to see if I was okay. And they got me rallied, and they got me back, and refocused into my writing. So stay on top of where your peoples are.
Yeah, great
Oh,
point.
that's wonderful. Yeah. And, you know, when we first started our group and getting to know each other, to me, I was like, oh my goodness, what? Now I have to meet new people? No. This is not what I want to do. I just want to write. I just want to leave me alone. I just want to write. But I have to say, like, this is motivation. And, you know, the other women in my group, they're published. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do that too. And I've read some of their work, and it's fantastic. And I've submitted stories for contests, and I've gotten feedback from, you know, my group. And it's amazing. It's just amazing. And we're all planning to go visit Elizabeth very soon. And her husband's going to give us a tour of their area.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I wasn't aware of it until the notice came out on Facebook to say we're all coming over to England. So,
You know, it does make, this is total sidebar there, but we've had several people talking about that they wish that this conference could be live, and I wish it could be live too, because I want to hug. So all the people, we could just spend a whole day hugging. It's going to have to be a live conference, and the first day is just hugs. Right. No, but yes. Oh, live events are so much fun, and getting your small groups together. What a great idea. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, you all are very special women. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to get to know you all better through WIP school last year and through all the events from here. And thank you for coming and taking the time to share this. Yes, Michelle.
I just wanted to say, Women in Publishing Summit popped into my life last year, like 24 hours before it came online. It just showed up on my feed. I paid for it. I went in, and it really has changed my author and my personal life. And so I can't say enough that the time that I've spent with Alexa and her team and my new author pod, and how it's shifted my entire author and business career. So if anyone hasn't signed up, I just would say that it's worth every cent.
You're filling my love bucket. Thank you. My bucket's been really empty. See, I'm a mom. We talk about love buckets and all those kinds of things. So thank you. You really are incredible women. I will make sure when we send out the replay, I dropped their links early in the chat. It's been a while, but we'll include that in there. Go to, one of the best things that we can do supporting each other's. I know we can't all afford to buy every single book in the world, but when we have deals out there, books that are 99 cents, books that are in book funnel promos. I think the one Jessica shared is a book funnel promo. So it's not even, you don't even have to buy it. Support each other in this way. Get each other's books when they're free or on sale. Leave reviews if you're reading the books, that type of stuff. stuff. It really starts in our own community sometimes and then spreads out from there. And we have a lot of women in this community that you don't have to read every book, but we've got, you know, a romance writer, self-help. But we've got the nonfiction business stuff with Elizabeth and her
Cozy.
yes, cozy mystery. I wanted to say Murder, She Wrote, but not quite, but similar, right?
Yeah.
But it will be of that status one day if we all get behind her and support that, right? You know,
That'd be good.
so check out their stuff. And thank you, ladies, again for being here tonight. And I'm going to ask y'all to mute yourself and feel free to drop your links again in the chat if you want people to see them again so they don't have to wait for the replay email. And then I'm going to pull forward the other group. All right. So, all right, we got Eddie. I'm going to replace a spotlight, Eddie, and we're going to pull up Pat. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. This is just going to take me a second here. And we've got Antoinette. And Rhonda and Nancy and Susan and Lisa and Leslie, another group, and last but not least, Christina. And okay, it just happens that the third of you are Purple Butterfly Press authors, which is amazing. That was not done intentionally. It just happens that you're all in here together. I just need to say this group of ladies right here. Wonderful women, and we've had so much fun celebrating each other's wins over the last year. Susan just got signed with She Writes Press that we all celebrated so much. We've got Pat and Christina's books that are getting ready to come out. Eddye, you're local to me. I don't know why we don't hang out.
I know. And I just discovered it after the summit.
I know, but just so much great stuff happening here. So if we want to just take a moment, and everybody in this group, this is the 55ers, and started by Eddye. So why don't you start, and then everybody tell us a little bit about who you are.
Listen, the WIP Summit just changed our lives. These ladies, I didn't know them last year. These are my best friends. These are my best writer friends. It's just amazing. Some have caught an airplane and visited one another. It's just really amazing. But anyway, I'm Eddye Lane. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. I am not published yet. So all you folks who've taken 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, I'm in your club. But I'm going to get something published this year. Working on children's picture books. Have about 12 manuscripts. I just found my illustrator, so we'll get rocking. But we were in the summit last year in something called Happy Hour. We had no liquor. It was an impromptu thing that Alexa put together and says, hey, you guys can go in breakout rooms. So what happened, we started seeing each other, a few of us, about 6 of us started out, and we started seeing each other in breakout rooms sort of over and over again. And we had a nexus with each other. And then at the end of the summit, it was so much good information and so inspirational. And we just clicked, and we just like, we don't want to lose each other. And so I started a Facebook page, went to Fiverr, got a banner made up in the whole 9 yards. But we did the same thing that Jess, I think it was Michelle talked about last time, was we did an email thread, and we just were emailing back and forth and just like, let's just do it. So we sprint, and some people ask, even when I talk about it now, what is a sprint? So sprinting is just pretty much writing. You're quiet, but you're writing together. So like, you won't work out at home, but you'll go to the gym and work out with a friend. So it's the same thing with us. We write together. So I'm just going to, we have so many ladies. I'm going to shut up here because these ladies have written books and they have really done some major things. So I'm just going to turn it over to whoever wants to talk next. And I'm just elated about
before
these
we turn
ladies.
it over, I just want to say one thing, and that is, don't be afraid to speak up in the happy hour groups or in the Facebook group, because that's what Eddye did. And I saw her posts and I was just like, this is fantastic. This is what we want to see happening. She was inviting people to meet up. She'd post a Zoom link. She's still doing it, by the way. She post a Zoom link in there and say, hey, we're getting together to write. Don't be afraid to do that kind of stuff. That's where the magic comes from. So thank you for being such a leader in that and bringing these. And it's not because they're 55 or older. It's because they write for 55 minutes.
Right.
That's why they're the 55ers.
Right. And I'll just say this, you can find us on Facebook. We are a private group, but we certainly welcome people who want to write. We're the 55 Sprint Writers on Facebook. So it's :55 Sprint Writers on Facebook. So, come and visit us. I'm done.
All right, Pat, you're next. Oh, Nancy's got something. Go for it, Nancy.
Well, I was just going to say, before people think that all we do is write quietly, that would be a great misconception, because we get together and we share a little bit, and everybody kind of talks about the progress they've made in the last week. We get together 4 to 6 times a month, and then we finally say, okay, we have to stop talking and write. And then after we write, we come back together and talk about what we wrote. So we are Gabby girls, that's for sure. But we do get down to business.
Awesome. Do you want to, while you've got the stage, do you want to tell people who you are and what you write?
Okay. My name is Nancy Bordine. I have been writing books for the neighbor kids if they watch our pets when we're on vacation and things like that. And I started writing a book about quilts because I teach quilting for the area 4th graders at our history center. And the beautiful thing about this group is that we're all kind of doing a little different things. A lot of us are kidlit, but we all support each other. And we all, like, if somebody has good news, it's like we all celebrate. And, we do a little sign language, hooray, hooray, hooray. And we give each other ideas, and we get ideas from each other about how to, for developing character. We celebrate each other's wins. We've been writing book reviews for each other when somebody, gets a book out there. I like to write books that stimulate children's minds. I have a background in critical thinking and also diversity, equity, and inclusion. So those are common themes in my books. And I, believe it or not, I can give those messages writing about quilts. I will soon be writing a young adult novel about racism here in Michigan. I'm from Traverse City, Michigan. And so it's about 1850s racism against the Native American peoples here.
Wow. Super interesting. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep moving along here. How about you, Pat? Why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you're doing?
Hi, everyone. I'm Pat Black-Gould in Pensacola, Florida. An adult fiction writer, a playwright, and I don't know how it happened, but somehow over this past year, I wrote a children's book. And I'm serious, it only existed in the form of a short story when I came into this summit. That was it, the only thing I had. It is being published on June 14th through Purple Butterfly Press. So that was, I'm still amazed. I'm still amazed.
We're very excited about it. I just dropped the link for that one in there as well. And Antoinette.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Antoinette Martin, and I've been writing for a long time. I've had a picture book published, and my memoir was done in 2017. And now I'm working on a trilogy of historical fiction based on my grandmother's childhood growing up as Sicilian immigrants in the Lower East Side tenements of New York City. So I have 2 done, down to my last one, which hopefully will come out the end of this year. And this group has just been the tether that keeps me going, that makes sure I show up with something.
Awesome. Rhonda.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Perry, and I'm in the Chicago area. I'm writing memoir about my journey working with an energy healer. And I love this group. I'll admit, when I first saw they were, called the 55 writers, the first thing that popped in my head was, is it because they're 55 and older? Or I didn't understand it. But, we cleared that up, and I love meeting with them as much as I can. I think someone said there's at least 6 meetings on our calendar a month. And so I try to join as much as I can. And I honestly consider all these women part of my extended family. Whenever I get off a call, I run to my daughter and I say, you'll never guess what this woman in my writing group has done, because I'm just thrilled for them. And, we, like Nancy said, we share what we're working on, and we can bounce ideas off each other. And it's just wonderful. I'm so happy to be part of this group.
6 meetings a month. Wow, you guys are making it happen, huh? How many people total are in this group?
46.
Woo!
46.
So okay,
but we only have about, it can go anywhere from 2 to maybe 13 at the most at one time. So everybody gets a chance to talk, and it's very cozy, but people are in and out. We have no roll call. Nobody's no attendance required. We just come in, and you can use this to just write. And so it's just lovely. So
this
46 people.
Is a great comparison then, how you can have a very small, very intimate group that meets once or twice a month and does other things, or you can have a large group that has lots of events set up that people can come in and out of. So this is great. Okay, Susan.
Oh, well, I'm the newest member. I do believe it was Pat that invited me in. And I have to say that I had to laugh when one of the women from the Pickles said something about the writing will still be there, because I'm one of those women. I was a single mother of my daughter. I was a librarian, then I was an English teacher. I mean, although I tried, writing just wasn't on the agenda most of the time, and summers were spent resting up for the next school year. So I just had to laugh, because, oh my gosh, Jessie was 8, now she's 35. So you do the math.
But you came back to it, so that's amazing.
I did. Anyway, I live in Middle Tennessee, in a restored hayloft of a barn on a lazy southern river. And I came to this group with a somewhat finished creative nonfiction book, and meaning the group, meaning the Women in Publishing Summit. And by the end of the summit, I had a website, I was blogging, I was doing all the things that I learned. For me, the hybrid route made the most sense. And I would say I'm lucky enough, to be on a list for fall 23, what I consider to be a very well-respected women's publishing company. So in closing, when I moved to Nashville from Los Angeles, and people would find out I was from Los Angeles, and they say, don't you miss Los Angeles? And I'd say, well, I miss my writers group. And it took me a while to find these women, and I'm still getting to know them, but it is just nothing but a pleasure.
Okay, well, we are so glad to have you in the community, Susan, and it's been a joy watching you go through that entire process. And your book's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I'm a huge history buff, so I can't wait to get my copy when it comes out.
Thank you.
All right, Lisa. Oop, I think you might be muted. Oh, no sound.
Okay, how's that? It's good. Oh.
Nope. Go to your microphone, click on the arrow, and make sure that your audio settings are set up that it's got the right audio connected. And while you're doing that, I'm going to have Leslie introduce herself.
Can you guys hear me?
I can.
Oh, good. Okay. My name is Leslie Ahmadi. I'm here in Columbus, Ohio. I've been with the women.
1, 2, 3.
Lisa?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, Lisa, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, Leslie, you finish. You finish.
Okay. I became familiar with the Women's in Publishing. Again, somehow the announcement, my awareness of it, it popped into my email at just the right time of my life. And I still don't quite understand how that happened, but I'm so glad it did. I would like to give in fact, on behalf of everyone, I'd like to give a shout out to Alexa and to Eddye as excellent leaders. I have never been to a conference where from the beginning, somehow they get to know us. They know us by name. They know our genre. They know it's a beautiful experience, you know, and it's an inspiration. So this relationship and the power of relationship, it trickled down from above, and it's genuine, the whole team. I actually have 2 areas of writing I'm really interested in. I didn't have time to. One is writing for children, and I hope to do that in this, you know, in the future. But right now it's memoir. A memoir that talks about my life as an American, an African American, a Christian woman who married a man from Iran and went and lived there for 4 years and was absolutely terrified every step of the way when I went there. But went for love, and what I discovered about the Iranian people, the culture, how my own racial identity, my own cultural identity, my faith identity kind of interacted and informed, you know, my reactions, my thoughts, and what I learned. So I'm excited to share that. And I would just like to say that being part of this group has been very energizing. It's already been said, and actually, for those of us who went to the Women in Publishing school, WIP, yeah, we were put, Alexa put us in groups then by genre. And so we were also, Lisa and I were also part of that group, which was also valuable. But what was so wonderful about Eddye is, and about the Sprint group, is that there was an open invitation to anyone who wanted to join. And just to feel that, you know, so I jumped right in, and I'm so glad I did, because everyone has a different talent. Everyone has a different level of experience. I like how this is structured, because because some of us would love to be sponges all the time and just seep in and just take it all in, and not necessarily do the work that's necessary. So that it's built in for us to be doing something and to report into each other. And people are kind enough to say, oh, well, you know, I can give you a resource on that. Or, oh, that's very interesting. Or even, Leslie, that's great, just go and do it. So that's what I would, that's, you know, we read each other's books, we write reviews for each other, we provide these resources, and I can say I've gone much further along because of the accountability factor. So that's all I have to say.
I just want to, before Lisa pops in, I just want to tag along on that on one thing. It's like, you know, even if these things are made available to you, it's showing up and participating and doing the work that's going to get you there. So, you know, kudos to all of you for actually showing up and doing the work, even if it was little by little, even if you weren't ready for whatever was coming next. And, you know, just in the last year, we've seen so much growth from all of the people that we've been watching go through this process. So don't forget to give yourself a pat on the back too, Leslie, for actually showing up and doing it and pushing yourself through and making those those steps forward. So thank you. All right, Lisa, now that we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Lisa Plasse and I'm from New Jersey. And I found this group through the Women in Publishing. And again, I think it was Michelle from the other group that said, your advertisement popped up on her phone the night before. And that was the same thing that happened with me. And I felt like it was a sign. And I bought the ticket. And I can tell you it changed my life. So meeting all these wonderful women and knowing that it just helped to validate what I've been working on. I think all of us felt like we suffered from what they talk about imposter syndrome, and this just helped to validate us as women, as writers, and I'm just so blessed that I got to be part of this group, and I just look forward to it. I actually miss my ladies because I've been working on a show this whole month and I haven't been able to sprint with you guys, and I can't wait till my show is over so I could just come back. And so I'm currently working on a parenting memoir, and it's focusing on my journey through parenting of my 4 children from the time they were born. They're all grown now. And it does have a journal component in it so that parents or grandparents, whoever picks up the book, they can use it. They can put in their own words of wisdom that they would use with their kids and their own life lessons. And I can say that I got some great writing done during the 55 because it made me sit and work on my book. And so, you know, I'm close, I'm almost done. I'm like at the home stretch, and I'm so excited to share it with my ladies. I can't wait to let them see it. And thank you, Alexa, for giving us this opportunity. You rock, you're awesome. You and your team are just amazing. We love you so much.
Well, I will say that, you know, we built the ark, but you guys have made it live. So that was a horrible analogy or metaphor, whatever. But like, no, it's the energy and the stuff that y'all bring to it that makes us keep going and working harder. So thank you. Oh my gosh. Last but not least is Christina. And she is a very, very special person to me. So I'm happy
Well,
to
I'm
have tell everybody.
I'm also proof that 55 has nothing to do with this group. I'm just going to slide that in there. So my name is Christina Dankert. I'm also from Ohio. I'm a 2nd grade teacher and a mother of 2. My first children's book called The Kindness Machine will be coming out in March this month, or we're almost in March here. So I'm very excited. You know, I'm going to go ahead and say to Eddie that in that happy hour last year, almost exactly a year ago, we had this group and she just kind of stated, so we're going to keep doing this, right? It wasn't a question. It was just, we're gelling together. We've seen each other's faces. We're just going to keep doing this. And like Michelle and the other group said, you know, the emails are how it started, but really that face-to-face, as Jess mentioned before too, that face-to-face, you really get to know people, and celebrating each other's little wins not only gets you excited for those people as you're watching them progress, because everyone has made progress, but it also gets you excited because you know that your little wins will also be celebrated and everything just continues to snowball. So yeah, I'm extremely thankful for this group.
Okay, so a much larger group here, so that took a little bit longer to do introductions, but what was cool is you guys kind of sprinkled in some of your tips throughout and kind of shared what was going on here. So lots of different meeting times, lots of times to come in. You mentioned that that you really do focus on the writing, but you have some other stuff happening too and helping each other through that. So I would say, you know, I don't know if someone wants to be a spokesperson or if you decided a couple of people that would share something. Do you have anything to add to the forming of the group, keeping of the group going? Any of the, if someone's looking to start their own group, any advice that we can share with them on that?
You know, we've just had a recent experience. Now, certainly Pat talk, we've had a recent experience where when we first started out, it was just based upon my schedule, you know, when could I do it? And so now I set the sprint up, and then this is when we would sprint, you know, when I could do it. And so as of January, I just said, you know what, you guys, we got to get real serious. At least I have to. I've been sort of managing and not writing. Yeah, I would write, but more managing, you know. So I realized, I said, you know, I have to get down to the nitty gritty here. And so in January of this year, we had it every Saturday. So it wasn't like every other, whenever I could, et cetera, whatever evening. And what was beautiful, I had some technical difficulties one evening, and the group just kept it moving. They sent up another Zoom link. Everybody went over to the other Zoom. I was like, go, go, go. I got in there later. They were still rocking. So this reminds me, I always laugh about this. So it reminds me of my relationship with my mother-in-law. She and I go traipsing all over the world together. We leave my husband wherever. It's like, you know what, it's not all about you. It's us, you know. So the group keeps it rocking. So now the group is sort of self-propelling because it's about the writing. So that's just been so wonderful. And I would just say, you know, if you're in a group, don't just let it fall. If one person can't get there and do something, just step up, be a part. And I think everybody in here is vested to keep this thing moving. So I'm just so tickled about all of that. So it's not about me anymore, my schedule. So I'm just tickled.
I think sometimes it takes one person to really be the staple to get something going. But then once people realize the benefit and want to come into it, then other people are a whole. So I would say if you're brand new to starting a group and one person does have to be that one that kind of organizes it, I would say the encouragement here is that eventually it's gonna be other people are gonna hop in and start helping you out and all of that kind of stuff. So Pat, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I do. I'm one of those people where the initial pod did not gel, and much to my disappointment. And so I would advise people, as introverted as you may be, because I am, to attend the happy hours, the coffees. You know, don't give up on connecting, because it only takes one person, you know, to bring you into the fold.
That's great advice.
And I'd like to add that it's sometimes you just have to keep vigilant at going to a group. You know, sometimes you may feel it's going to be hard to fit your time in, or you don't really know anybody and you have nothing to say, but you really need to give it an effort.
Mm-hmm.
Things just can't happen, you know, by magic. You really have to work at it a little bit. And it's by listening and sharing, you know, you find that it's such a rich experience, and you really do come to know these women, and they become your friends and your go-to people to help you get through and to celebrate what you do and to celebrate with them. And it's you know, it's always a fun sprint.
Agreed.
Always a lot of fun.
So Pat, Rhonda, and Nancy all had things they wanted to say. Pat, you want to jump in?
I just want to say, don't worry so much about genre. Don't say, oh, I do this style, I do this, I do that. It's because truthfully, I find we do better with our mix, because we offer so much to each other, despite the genres. If anything, we probably grow more because experience comes from all over the place. You know, so don't feel like, oh, I've just got to look for this person, or I got to look for this person, you know. And I'll just throw one other thing outside of that and everything in terms of caring and support. That plant behind me right there, I've been sick this year. That's from this group.
Oh,
so I thank everybody for that.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
You take care of each other more than just your writing. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. Rhonda, and then Nancy.
So I just wanted to say, you know, we mixed it up a little. Thank you, Eddie, for running our Super Sprint Saturday that we just had. We took a I don't know, 4 hours or so on a Saturday morning, and Eddie arranged to have prizes and giveaways, and we wrote and, you know, just really had a great time. So don't be afraid to mix it up a little as well.
That sounds fun. I know I saw that one posted and then I wasn't able to attend and then I saw all the stuff afterwards and I was like, I had super FOMO that I had not joined in with you guys after seeing all the stuff that was posted afterwards. Oh my goodness. Nancy.
You're busy.
I'd like to add that this group is really supportive and understanding of each other when we're going through a rough time. Like Pat said, when she was sick, in May, we had a really devastating fire and I had, you know, trauma brain for several months afterwards. And you just come in and you just keep showing up and you do get back in the groove. We've had a member who was going to like 3 funerals a week because of COVID in her community. And, you know, she kept showing up and, you know, we supported her and feels like she's back in the writing groove now too. Is it fair to say we kind of consider each other like a sisterhood? What would you guys say?
I would
So
say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love
She's
that.
talking about Jeanette. Jeanette's out there somewhere. She's in the chat. So she's like, I'm here. So that's Jeanette.
Yeah, she showed up later. Yes, we are a sisterhood, Jeanette says.
That is wonderful. All right. Well, I'm going to invite the other ladies to come back in if they would like to. And we're going to, let's see, can I bring everybody up here on, how do I do this? Can I spotlight you guys or do I have as many people as I can spotlight? Okay, I can't spotlight anybody else. So I'm going to remove the spotlights and just pull everybody up on the thing here as we're doing this. So, okay. I appreciate you ladies taking your time out on a Sunday evening and coming to talk to us because I think for me, this is one of the most important things about this conference is creating relationships, creating community, building those. And we're down to just one. Christina, hello. Creating those opportunities to come together and to find people that will help you move forward in your journey because, you know, this is hard work. It's not just hard because learning how to write is hard. It's not just hard because learning publishing and learning marketing is hard. It's hard because it's emotional, it's vulnerable, it's life, it's messy, and you know, coming together and finding the people that can help you on that route is so important. So like several of the ladies said, it's easy to be, I know when I go to a place that I don't know people, you may be surprised to know that I can be shy. That might surprise you, but I don't always, I'm gonna mute everybody because there's some feedback coming from somebody. If you don't mind muting yourselves because I don't see the list. But anyway, get involved, say hello, and make relationships with people throughout the next week if you're attending. If you're not attending, come to our webinars, meet each other in the chat, do those types of things. All of these are you know, if any of the people here, I'm sure would be happy to have you join their groups, even if you're not part of the actual event. You know, so anyway, does anybody have any last minute thoughts that they want to share before we close this up? Christina does.
Real fast that, you know, your family and friends and they're your cheerleaders, okay, you know, most of the time, but having the writing ladies who understand the process, they know what it's like when you're trying to pitch to someone. They know what it's like when you get rejected. To have that, it is a different understanding. And I think it's very important to have, you know, someone say, oh, I'm so sorry, or, oh, that's so great. But you have other people that know down to their core what it feels like, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And they help you dust it off and keep going. So that's just my last thought.
Thank you. All right. Well, I appreciate all of you so much. And Amy, we will see your book in print sometime very soon. Leslie, you too. One of yours, whether you go with the memoir first or the children's book, we'll see it. I think there's a couple others. Jess has been working on her fiction book for a while. We're gonna all push each other over that next place and get there. I've been working on my fiction book now for 5 years. So hopefully this is supposed to be the year. Supposed to be the year. We'll see. Okay, well, I'm going to end this now because it's getting late. But I'm so grateful to all of you, and you're what makes this community so wonderful. So thank you for your very kind words, but it's you all who bring the real magic. So thank you. And we will see everybody. We do have one more event pre-conference, and that is our event on Tuesday night with Robin Cutler. That is a registration required. It is open to everyone like this one. You just need to go to womenandpublishingsummit.com/events, and you will find the upcoming keynote speak with Robin Cutler. She is a powerhouse woman in the publishing industry and is going to have a lot to tell us about the state of publishing and what's to come. Thank you, ladies, for being here tonight, and everyone have a great rest of your Sunday night. Go to bed, Elizabeth. Bye.